Today I'd like to talk about things that I'm doing to prepare for spring as a beekeeper. There's lots of different things that beekeepers do, a few other videos out there. I just kind of want to talk about what I'm doing and what I need to do to get everything ready for spring. It looks like we might get a early spring this year, so I need to be on the ball and get some of this stuff done. First thing I need to do is I need to come up with a plan on what I'm doing with my apiary. Um, the reason I say that is that, in beekeeping, sometimes things change at a snap of a finger. It's always change. It's hard to have a plan just set in stone. Things are always going to change, come up and cause issues and that you need to, change. So for me, I started the winter off with 6 hives. Now I'm down to 4 hives. So I did have 2 hives die. My original plan, I pre-ordered and paid for 10 queens. I was going to have, my original plan, like I said, is going to have 2 honey production hives, and then the other 4 hives, I was going to pull 10 splits from them to put those new queens in that I had ordered. But now that I'm down to 4, I still would like to have the 2 honey production hives and still be able to make those 10 splits. I did already pre-order those queens, so I still want, or I still need to make 10 splits somehow. I just would like to do it and still have the little bit of honey from those 2 hives as well. So just trying to figure out and make a plan on how I can do both. So have your cake and eat it too, I guess. But so probably what I'll end up doing is the other 2 hives. Let's see, I'll have 2 hives honey production. The other 2 hives, they are double deep, so I do have 20 frames. So a total of 40 frames between those 2 hives. I'll end up splitting those, probably 3 frames per nuc. That'll give me 10 new nucs for the new queens, and then there'll be enough frames left over to keep the 2 original queens that's in those colonies currently. Because I don't want to, I'm not really replacing those queens. I want to keep those. The other plan I need to make is where am I going to put these nucs at? I need to build my hive stands. Since I'm trying to grow, I need to come up with a design, the layout of my apiary. Right now with 6 hives, it's not really too bad. I do have 2 stands, one on either side of my yard. But now I'm going to have to create a 3rd stand to put these nucs on. So I need to go ahead and get that assembled. I want to get that ready, going into spring. The other thing I need to think about in my plan is how I'm going to feed these nucs once I make them. Am I going to use bucket feeders on top? Am I going to use frame feeders inside, Boardman feeders on the outside there at the front entrance? And I wanted to make sure I have those feeders so that if I do need to feed those nucs, I'm sure I'm going to have to feed those nucs. So I'm going to be prepared and ready to feed them. So I don't have these extra feeders for those nucs yet. So that's something I need to plan out, figure out how I want to feed them, and make sure I have all that on hand and ready to go. Second thing I need to do is I still need to put boxes together. So I got these nucs I need to build. I got swarm traps. I got extra 10 frame hive bodies I need to build. So I got some other boxes, that I need to put together, get them painted, get them ready to go. Things come so quickly. Once spring comes, I'm not really going to have the time to build my boxes and everything then. I need to have this stuff already done and ready to go. Another thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make sure my current colonies have enough food to last until spring. I need to go through there and make sure. March is a pretty good year of beehive losses. A lot of people lose their hives in March for starvation. So I want to make sure that mine, we're not really out of the clear just yet. It's still winter. We still could have those cold snaps. Things could happen. So I need to make sure that there is enough food in there for them to last until we get the natural pollen and nectar flowing into the hives. Fourth thing I'd like to do to get ready for spring for me is I need to contact and reach out to my friends and family where I'm going to put swarm traps at, and see where at in their property it's okay for me to set up the swarm traps, maybe scout that out a little bit and actually pick out the tree and, you know, see where I'm going to be putting those traps. So when it's time, I can just go put them up, you know, we're done. So I just want to touch back in bases with them, make sure it's still okay for me to put those swarm traps out, those properties, and everything's still good to go. We're still good with that. Those are really the basics that I need to do to prepare for spring. You know, like I said earlier, you know, with early spring, you know, things are rolling on us pretty quickly, and before I know it, spring's going to be here, and it's going to be time to get in gear and go. So those are definitely the things that I need to do to prepare. Now, once spring hits, I do want to make sure that all my hives are queen right. I need to make sure they're, you know, they're laying eggs, everything is normal, flowing the way it should flow in those hives. Another thing that I want to do once spring gets here is I need to do a mite check. Before it goes into the spring flow and start putting the honey supers on, I want to make sure my mites are in check and they're down low in numbers. If I need to, you know, treat for mites, I want to make sure I get that done before the honey starts. So that's something I feel is pretty important once spring hits. Okay, that's all I got. That's what I'm doing to prepare for spring. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are doing. Any other thoughts, questions, what have you. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and hit that bell. Thanks.